or as little as you like. Okay, I'm switching on the backup camera, backup computer as well. Just need to engage itself. So get that machine to actually record as well, and then we can get underway. All right. Okay. All right. Okay, everybody. So I'm just gonna move some of these little windows around. Yeah, that's okay. All right. I think we're nearly there. Thank you for your patience there. So welcome to Opening to Your Flow of Abundance. This is a free healing webinar. I'm Nicolas David Mann of the Centre for Conscious Ascension, for those of you who don't know me. And the purpose of the webinar is basically to help you build more trust in the flow of life. Okay. I'm just going to switch on the screen sharing briefly, so if I can figure that out here. So, as light workers, we're all here to do something very special, but often it's difficult to rely on the universe to give us what we need in terms of trusting the flow here. Oh yeah, if the system pops you off, just log in again using the link from the registration email, because Zoom's already being pushed to the limit because everyone's working from home. And it's not my end, it's probably your local internet in the area you're in. It may not be stable enough because of the demand on it. So the purpose of this is to really help you heal the fear of stepping into your life, the life you really desire. Many light workers, because of the lockdowns, are having to bring their missions online in a hurry, especially if you're physical therapists, and really get out there rather than a few years or months' time. They're having to do that now. So if you're one of those, this is here to help you do that, so you can safely let go and open to the flow of abundance and deliver that precious gift of service to the world that we search for from a very early age as light workers. So this is what we're doing here. I'm just going to let one more Alexandra in. Okay. And so what I'm going to do is stop sharing now. And let's get the chat up in case anyone talks to me in the chat as well. So what I want to hear from you guys, because this is a fully interactive webinar, is I want to hear briefly what brought you here and what you need from this. Because we are in the end times. We are in those biblical end times where we're going to make a major shift in consciousness. And if you're going to come online because you were born to this life, now is a good time. So I want to hear where you are in the world, because it's very international, and what you really need from this, because that will set the group intention for this webinar. Because every time I do these, it's a little different because it depends on what you need. Okay. This is just not a sharing of standard information. It changes depending on the overall group requirement. Okay, so if you want to speak, just wave at me really big, because there's a lot of you on the screen here, or message me. Then just say what your intention is and where you are in this process of transformation. Okay, so anyone can start here. Okay, Diane, nice to see you in person.
Well, it seems like everything's accelerated for me. I work full time. I'm 58, so I'm lining up my next thing. And it's what I want, how I want to do, not what I have to do. And I'd like to start a nonprofit. And I really feel this is really being pushed from my soul level. And to make that transition seems like you have to really up level and get connected to yourself. And my God, that's it seems like not only a physical, emotional, mental changes going on, and it's overwhelming. You know, you go through days of just simple exhaustion. So I think it's important. I seem to be tapping into the right people. So that's really why I'm here, is trying to integrate all of this energy and get connected. Does that make sense?
That makes sense, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so it is very intense, this change we're going through. There's a huge amount of information and misinformation out there, and our minds are trying to make sense of the whole thing. Because basically you have a battle of light and dark going on at an information level and in a hidden underlying level in the world to transform the world. So it's very important to give yourself a break. Deal with the strong emotions that come up. Everyone's going through this because it is exhausting what's going on. And at times just switch off. And then the most important thing here is to focus on a positive outcome for mankind when we do this. Because it's very easy to get drawn into the fear-based stuff that's been deliberately put out, because the idea of that is to lower our frequency. Okay, so it's very important to clear all the negative emotions that come up in you and focus on where you want to go, because the power to change this world comes from us collectively. If you'll focus on a positive outcome, that is what happens, because our greatest power is our collective ability to create a better world. If everyone focuses on fear, you'll get that happening. The outcome of that, if everyone focuses on a better world, we'll get that happening. And the powers that be can't stop us if we all focus on a positive outcome. So basically, it's toast for them. Okay, so that's our greatest power here. All right, so this is really useful. So if you're trying to come into your abundance, the flow of your real mission here, focus on anything that comes up and transform it. Then focus on where you want to go with it. Okay. I had a first couple of weeks of having a huge amount of fear, a lot of past life deaths from dying from plagues and things. Once I cleared that, I was underway, but that was quite tough. So sort of been going through the same thing. Right, who else wants to share here? Okay, Janine.
Hi, I'm Janine. I'm in Florida right now. I'm a speech therapist, and I work with the elderly right now. Sorry. So my thing is, I feel like I'm handling the ebbs and the flows of the energy of how everything is going, reacting to people around me or not reacting. But I feel like I'm being called to be more vocal about things, maybe for reassurance for people, but I'm petrified. I really don't know what it means, and I'm scared. So that's where my fear is, just the fear of being seen.
Okay. Well, thank you, Janine. Thank you for being seen online. Okay, switching the camera on and talking to us. Okay. All right, who wants to go next? Everyone's switching around. Okay, Loretta. You have to switch on the mic on the bottom left, Loretta. You have to click on the mic icon. That's it.
Okay. Hi, Nicolas. Hi, everybody. I'm from South Africa. There was a stage that I was in fear mode, and thanks to Nicolas and some other platforms that I'm on, I've managed to just calm down and let things be. The thing is, I'm in a 4-year, and it's a universal 4-year. I just turned 60 in March, and our country, I think, is one of the worst lockdowns, apart from what happened in China. Our president will be speaking tonight, and then we'll hear from here. It seems what they also want to do. I am a personal assistant in government, and it looks as though they're going to say that everybody that's over the age of 60, we're not allowed to go back to work until September, maybe even later. So I've been contemplating taking early retirement, of course, going into the fear that my pension, what's going to happen to my pension, because yes, you know, with the markets that are crashing. But in another sense, I also know it's time for me now to step into who I actually am in this lifetime, or who I've come to, what I've come to do in this lifetime. And I know by the end of this year, I will really know what my purpose is. I know I would like to have a reading done by you, Nicolas, but with the rand being ridiculous as it is at the moment, it's yes. But so that's for me to be here to let go of the fear and just know that no matter what happens, I'm going to be okay.
Okay, thank you, Loretta. Hang in there. Who wants to go next? I'll read out a few then. I've got, let's have a look here. Everyone's writing things here. Hang on. Okay. Lindsay from Florida joined to find out more about me and opportunities to create more abundance for my purpose in life. Also curious about becoming a soul contract reader. Okay, welcome, Lindsay. Yeah, if you guys have a bit of a audio glitch, just switch the video off and the audio will improve, and switch it on. Try to switch it on again a bit later, okay? Because it just means your internet bandwidth's dropped a bit. Lorraine said, wants to be able to really trust in the universe to show me ways of making money as I've just retired and will be moving to Portugal to live off the land, which is my dream. Although I'm still in the UK as the lockdown happened on the day I moved out of my house. That's a bit tough. Lucas is in the UK. He's from Spain. He says, I am basically making a change since more than a year ago, searching in myself. I just want to connect more deep with new artistic projects I haven't done in the last 5 years and really want to come back, and also in developing my spiritual skills in order to offer to people around me. Mary from Birmingham says, how can I be sure I'm on the right path? I feel I am, then doubt and fear creep in, and I back off and come back to it again days or weeks later. The way you tell that, Mary, is to try the idea on in your heart. If your heart opens, then you're going in the right direction. If it closes, that means you're meant to be somewhere else. You should try something else there. Sharifa said, no mic, from Singapore, midnight. Here to learn the exact topic of this meeting. I've been doing healing work and have received urges to write books, but this work I'm doing has not been helping me financially to the extent that I've been conflicted as to whether I'm really on the right track, doing the right thing. Thank you for the session. Mariola said she's a spiritual consultant and teacher. Ellie, do you want to talk, Ellie? Because you're on the video. Do you want to say you've been on this before? You're not shy.
No. Good morning or afternoon, evening, everyone. Nicolas, thank you so much. My intention for today is just to continue with my spiritual growth and to, keep healing. And I'm open to delving deeper into myself. I love these webinars, and I think, coming together united is going to raise that consciousness. And so I'm so encouraged and inspired by such webinars, and I'm so grateful to be here. So thank you, everyone.
Okay, thanks, Ellie. Pam has said she's in the south of England. She's a body clock practitioner and Reiki practitioner. Had a soul contract reading for one of my students a couple of weeks ago. Keen to find out what the service is that I'm meant to do, not in fear, concentrating on the big picture, but I do worry about how this will affect my kids. Sue is working on becoming more spiritual, learned body talk. Let's have a look here. Told she's quite powerful, but don't know it yet. I've had a soul reading from Valerie, who's here. I need to open my crown chakra. Soul purpose was a 7-7. Mariola, his intention is abundance to flow to her, into her life freely and easily and effortlessly. More abundance so I can do more for others. Love to have a beautiful house with a beautiful garden. To do consultations, have a lot of time for self-care. Like to have $10 million in her account, wouldn't we all? Coralie's aim is to push my business and spread its knowledge. The knowledge of Vastu Shastra. She's in India, New Delhi. Okay, that was a mouthful. Anyone else want to share who's been brave enough to show themselves here? Okay, Sue Brooker. There you go, you're on.
Hi, Nicolas.
Hi.
So to connect to more like-minded people, grow and learn more, and I'm currently the body on one of Nicolas's light body surgeon courses. I think we have one module left to go, is that right?
Yeah.
So looking forward to that. So I'm guessing that's going to be online.
Yes, it's going to be online.
So I'm kind of in progress with that stuff. I've had soul contract readings done. I had one years and years ago, and then one again recently with Valerie, which was fabulous. And yeah, just keen to keep going and connecting to you know, like-minded people. I am going to have to disappear though, because I have a client at 6, so I will catch up on the replay later.
Okay.
So thank you, Nicolas, for putting all these freebies on for us. It's really appreciated.
Okay, my
Thank
pleasure.
you.
Thanks for making the time. Anyone else want to share who's been brave enough to show themselves? If you're trying to get out in the world, this is a good opportunity. Ellen. There you go, it's on.
Thank you. Hello, Nicolas, and everybody here. Yeah, thank you so much for facilitating this space at such a pivotal time, especially. I think I'm here through some wonderful women who I work with, have brought me to your work, and it's profound, the experience I've had through them. And I think in this moment, it feels like everything is kind of deconstructing, and there's this kind of fertile soup of potential on one hand, and on the other hand there's just an echo chamber of how I relate to all of it. And I'm coming up against how, when I try to imagine or feel into what might come in the future and how that might look, certain a lot of blockages and a lot of kind of U-turns that would bring me safely back to where I can't seem to move forwards with it all. And it definitely has something around abundance financially, because I feel like I need to create some kind of life. And on one hand, I'm in a place where anything is possible. And at the other hand, that's too vast to know how to step forward, take the next step. So that's why I'm here.
Yeah, well, this webinar is all about trust, Ellen.
Yes.
I think this period on Earth is all about trust because of this uncertainty. And the best thing we can do is to be in our hearts, be grounded and present, and feel the truth in our bodies of what to do next. Because there's so much illusion out there, there's so much manipulation of the media, and you can't tell what's real. It's very hard to tell what's real at the moment, what's true, because we've been manipulated deliberately. Okay, feel in your heart the options which are before you. And the one that opens your heart the most is the one to move forward towards, and just trust your soul, because the opening of the heart by the soul is the only true, real truth you can have in life. Also, what you see before your eyes, but even that sometimes can fool you. Well, what you see on the media is not always true because of the way computer graphics are so sophisticated. But what you feel in your body is the only true thing in the end. And act upon that to allow that to guide you through this process. And the main thing to remember is that we are one great soul. This universe is one great soul. I'll give you the perspective here. It's just having an experiment in consciousness. And I'll show you, just to sort of pull you back from all the noise out there and remind you of what's going on here. So we want to adjust for given the extraordinary circumstances we're under. So you're going to see the videos will go to the right. You can move them around. If you want to see someone else, just click on the chevrons on the top and the bottom, just to remind you what's really going on. We come from Source at the 12th dimension. And essentially, one great soul created this universe. It created all life in it, including us, including the supposed bad guys and all the lovely stuff going on at the time. It's one great soul that gave an out-breath of consciousness and densified its consciousness through all dimensions, all the way down to this third dimension where we end up being in these physical bodies. And all it wants to do is to learn more about itself through the process of life, through creation. So this out-breath went out and these little sparkles of it, we moved further and further away. They came into bodies to the point that they forgot they come from source. And some parts forgot more than others. And some parts decided to play the role of what we call the dark forces, the Illuminati, whatever you want to call it. Okay, so they could anchor us as far away from source as possible, so then we could have the journey of awakening, which is happening rapidly at the moment, and acknowledge that it's all one, and then through healing the fears in us, in our own unconsciousness or darkness, because they're just a mirror for our own darkness. So humanity is going through a collective healing. We can then return at a feeling level from unconsciousness or darkness back to light. That is what's going on. That's, in fact, that's the only purpose of the universe and all life and all planets, is to have this experience of an out-breath of source, forgetting who we are, then the return home, which is what we're doing right now. So if you just remember that, that's what is actually going on, and the rest is detail. Okay, does that give you some context there?
Yeah, that's brilliant. Thank you.
All right. So,
yeah, nice reminder.
So this is why we're here, amongst all the noise and all the YouTube videos and all the things people are saying. Some, you know, greater and lesser degrees of truth, and we all see truth in our own way. So, to open to the flow of abundance, we need to basically clear our ego here, the human ego construct, which is created so we have the sense that we are a small little bitty human being. God's miles away, God's in some big chair millions of light years away in the universe, and that we're never going to get home. That's an illusion that's created so you have the sense of separation. And so the way you create more abundance is you need to open, clear the ego, and open a pathway to source. Because the abundance does not come from this reality. This reality is like a three-dimensional projection screen. And energy from the high dimensions comes in and creates this reality around us. So there is no abundance to be found in this reality. Because it's like going to the movies and expecting to pick off a real item off the screen. Okay, but if you get to the projector, which is higher consciousness, and you access that within yourself, that is the true flow of abundance. Okay, so the key is to clear enough of your ego construct to access that. And as you clear that, build more trust. And it becomes a positive loop. As you start to open, you trust more and more, then more flow comes. That's the essential principle of what we're talking about here. Because what happens here is that when we separate, get this far from God or source, there are three primary separation programs in our human ego that are created. We have a sense we're abandoned by God. You don't feel worthy to be loved by God. And we don't trust God, which is the one we're working on. The webinar programs are designed around these three: abandonment, unworthiness, mistrust. So if you work on all these three, then you get a little closer. You reconnect more to the flow of abundance in this case. And the key to doing that is like this. I'm giving you a brief explanation of the process, then we're going to go and do this process. Because there is a way home, because God's source wouldn't have created us unless there was a way to get home. Because we are just sparks of the Creator having a human experience. We are creation in action. It's not happening out in space or the universe. It's happening in our lives. We are the Creator creating. Right? That's a very important point. So you've all come because you've got a willingness and desire and courage to heal, to transform, in this case, trust issues, so you can bring your mission online. So the key is to bring feeling consciousness to all issues of the fear of stepping into your life, the life you really desire, or in this case, general fear for what's going on in the world. And that fear has been deliberately created to lower your consciousness. So it could be good not to watch the media some days, because most of what is said is not true. the same number of people are dying in Britain this year as they are last year. So what do you think is happening if that's the case? Why are they classifying everyone who's dying as having COVID-19? Okay, so there's a lot of discrepancies in what's really going on because of what's been done. Yeah, but that creates a lot of fear in people. So the idea is to bring consciousness to the fears or whatever it is stopping you coming into the flow of abundance or to what you really desire. Because if you can bring feeling consciousness to it, which is here, into the fear in this case, you can heal it. That's the core principle of what we're doing. And humanity overall is doing this. We're having to bring up our deepest, darkest fears collectively and bring consciousness to it. Lots of truth is being disclosed, and more truth will be disclosed. WikiLeaks dumped their entire database of everything that was hacked yesterday. So this is an example, and so a massive truth bomb was dumped on the world to show what's really been going on. And so what's happening is that they're bringing consciousness to the collective darkness of humanity. And so this is actually what's happening. So if you clear the inner darkness of yourself, fears, whatever comes up, and welcome them, because they're just there to be overcome, they're not here to defeat us, then we all move forward a little closer to source. All right. So you could say humanity is undergoing a massive divine healing process collectively, all 7 billion people, whether they like it or not. Okay. So, but the ego is not keen for us to feel all our deepest, darkest programs. And neither are the dark forces on earth keen for us to find out what's going on. So the ego puts up this defense mechanism. This turquoisey color is, we numb out our feelings so that we can't feel it. Because we can't feel it, we can't heal it. And because the ego wants to preserve us in this place of separation from Great Spirit. So what we do here is that we will use divine healing today to work on layers or whatever you want to work on, probably fear, or whatever's blocking you coming into the flow. We break through the defense mechanisms of grace and ease, yeah, and feel what's going on. And when we start to break through them by commanding the higher self to do this, it starts to release. We start to have grace come in. And then the fear starts to dissolve, and then we suddenly realize it wasn't as bad as we thought it was. Okay. So here's the mechanism to create more flow in your life, to open more abundance. Okay, this is an Indian model. The higher part of us, which is in the higher dimensions, our higher self, which is permanent, has 3 aspects. And creating the flow of abundance is all about accessing this bit. There's a God self, a higher emotional body, and a non-linear mind that's all knowing. Okay, and this is us in our physical bodies, with our impermanent lifetimes and impermanent personalities. We have a mental, emotional body, and we have 7 energy bodies in total, including a physical body. So this is filled with these emotional separation programs, our fears, our lack of trust in this case, which is our theme today. So your job is to clean up everything in here so that you can begin to access the flow from the higher self. And as you clear the lower emotional bodies, the lower bodies, Antakarana opens up. This is our connection to higher self. And unconditional love flows in. When unconditional love flows in, if we accept all our programming, all our darkness for exactly what it is and let go of judgment of it, then what happens is it lets go. But it's our judgment and feeling bad about our programs and denial of them which makes them stronger. So the very thing the ego doesn't want you to do is the very thing that will free you from its constraints. And the more you clear what's happening in the lower energy bodies, the bigger the Antakarana opens up, more unconditional love flows, more abundance flows in your life, more trust flows. The more what you deeply desire starts to happen, starts to manifest in your life. Because that feeling comes from the soul. It's driving you forward to find that that true soul purpose you're here to deliver. You each have a gift. So God sends many light workers to earth, and I hope that enough of us will wake up and do this process, clear our stuff, and get on with the mission of bringing back, awakening everyone on earth. Because 2 or 3% of the population are light workers like us, spiritual seekers, and everyone else is a lot more asleep in consciousness, as you might have noticed. And our job is to wake ourselves up, clear our egos, open to this flow. This is the process of enlightenment. If you completely clean out the ego, it surrenders and becomes a servant for higher consciousness. And then that deep gift of service, that important mission you've been seeking your whole life, starts to manifest here. And I spent probably, how long did I spend? Oh, let's think. What did that take? I spent 15 years struggling as a healer. And then I cleared enough stuff using divine healing. And Jalmira used to run the Centre for Conscious Ascension, developed a couple of other friends of ours. And once I cleared this stuff here, this started opening up, and then my life started to open. And then life's quite different now because I really concentrated. One thing I understood this, really concentrated in clearing this, and then enough consciousness from the higher self came through that it became predominant rather than my ego being in charge. And I surrendered to it for most of the time. And that's actually how this mission started to happen. So I went from being a struggling healer, just with a small business in England, to teaching global courses and having a best-selling book and being on Gaia. And all sorts of amazing things happened, but it wasn't me doing it. It was the higher self coming through me and doing this. It was actually bringing through the mission through me, because I'd let go enough, I trusted enough. And so my gift of service is starting to manifest. And this is the key to it. And there is no quick and dirty way to do this, no matter what the internet says, especially from North American websites, okay? It doesn't work. Spending untold money on things which say there's a quick fix doesn't work. You've actually got to go and do your work. You've got to go and look at your darkness, because the soul wants to have that visceral experience of being separate. That's separate. You bring consciousness to each layer of your shadow and transforming it into your gifts, and then the mission starts to happen. Okay, that's the, I don't know, good news, or some of you may feel it's bad news, but actually that's actually how it works. You've got to do your emotional work. Okay, and just saying you're better or you believe you're there doesn't work either. You've actually got to feel your way through this. Because the soul, we run a body, and the soul experiences emotions very deeply in a body. And that's what it wants. It wants to go from dark to light. Okay, this is how you turn that desire to carry out your mission into an actual physical reality. So what we're doing here is we're moving from the little ego here that thinks it knows what's going on when it doesn't really have a clue. It's following the path of suffering on this dotted line, which is what most humans do, to letting go all the misbeliefs of the ego. If you follow the ego, you'll be lucky to get life right half the decisions you make. That's on a good day. But if you follow the opening heart, which I talked about before, you will converge here on what we call the spiritual signature. Because in each moment, there's one right action. And that action can take you from wherever you are in your life into your mission here. And if you converge on this, life starts to happen, life starts to flow. Life will come to you because you're opening to the higher self and your consciousness expands. So we're going to use divine healing today, which is based on ask and you shall receive. You ask the higher self, because it's a free will zone, and you will receive, things will move. You move into a different space of being in the flow of spirit. You move out of fear, you gradually move into trust, and life will come to you rather than you have to chase it around. Okay? How's all that sounding so far as a proposition, people? Anyone want to talk about, see how they feel about that? Just having a little break. Pam, you got your mic on. How do you feel about that idea?
When you put it like that, it sounds the simplest thing in the world, but I know it's not going to be. Because who likes to actually confront their darkness? Who even knows sometimes what their darkness is?
Yes, the thing is though, it's just the ego telling you that it's going to be tough. But when you get in there, you suddenly realize it's all smoke and mirrors, this damn thing. And once you realize that, then it's on the back foot, because you realize, it's making a lot of noise, and actually it's not all true. And then you go through the programs. It's never as bad as the ego makes out. Okay, it's never as bad as the ego makes out. It's just trying to get through all the illusion of what it's actually doing to keep you asleep. Okay, so if you didn't have an ego, you wouldn't feel separate from God. And if you didn't have separation from God, you wouldn't want to get back in consciousness. That's the paradox of being human. I know it sounds simple. I've worked on this for 20 odd years, so I'm just trying to summarize this so you can do it a little quicker than I did. So anyone else want to share how they feel about that idea? No?
I'll go, David.
Is that Lindsay, is it?
Yes, yes,
Lindsay.
hi.
Hi.
Hello. I love the explanation, and I have done about a decade worth of that work in my life, and feel like I'm in a space now of complete surrender to what is, and the allowing process is exceptionally fun to watch what comes through me, as opposed to me feeling like I have to do anything to achieve it. And I just wanted to share, I thought that your explanation was really spot on, and something that if others could take it to heart, it is a process, but it is actually very fun. So that's my opinion. I just wanted to share.
Thanks, Lindsay, for sharing that.
You're welcome.
Yeah, the ego has a lot of defense mechanisms. We can dismantle them all gradually. Suze.
I feel really excited about all of it and shedding the ego. I feel like I've worked on some of that, but I'm much better at facilitating other people's journey than I am my own. So I need to learn to dig out the bits that I need to work on. Sometimes I can't even see what that is. And then I'll go for the easy option of doing bits that I can see and then not working on the deeper stuff. So it'd be good to dive a bit deeper into me instead. So yeah. I feel excited about it. It's that kind of anxious excitedness, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, we use the higher self and divine healing to go to the hidden parts, the parts where the ego is sabotaging us, which it would normally not allow us to go to, or we wouldn't even imagine it consciously.
Yeah.
What we're doing is we're allowing high consciousness to guide us to the next layer, because we each have our natural order of our awakening. It's like peeling an onion, peeling an ego onion, and we're not going to be able to consciously work that out. Okay.
No,
so it's easier to heal someone else. We healers need the most healing usually. That's why we're healers. So I own that.
Hiding.
Yeah. So it's just the way it is. Okay. Hi, Rosario. So it's about surrendering. You cannot work this out, what I've just talked about, this process. It's not something you can sit and think about, because the ego is trying to think about itself, the very thing that's trying to transform. It's like trying to stand on your own shoulders. It's impossible to do. So what we're doing is we're surrendering and trusting in higher consciousness to guide us through the awakening process I just talked about there.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm in my head way too much, and I need to remember to kind of embody it more.
Yeah, it's about coming in the body.
Yeah. And at the moment, I'm down lots of rabbit holes I have to keep pulling myself out of.
Yeah, it's easy to go down lots of rabbit holes at the moment and get lost, and then debate to other people. Well, my rabbit hole's better than your rabbit hole. It knows more, and you're off.
Yeah, I've done a bit of that.
Yeah. Everyone has their own unique rabbit hole.
Yeah, thank you.
Anyone else want to respond to what I just talked about before I continue? No, I will continue then. Okay. Mariella says she loves the explanation. Lorraine says it's perfect. That's good. I'm a Virgo, so that goes down well. Okay. And Nellie says she loves this. Okay. So, more. Right, so nearly there. So what happens is that when we have a lot of emotional separation programs holding us up, it steals our life force. So it diminishes, it blocks it, because the life force is still on to hold the emotional blocks in place, like fear of stepping into life. The reason we're all exhausted is because we're deep core collective fear is coming out of us. Okay, and it's trying to get loose, but our life force has been stolen by the ego to hold us more. That's why we're tired of what's going on. But if you bring consciousness to the fears here, what happens then, and we dissolve it, the life force is freed up and we get our energy back. Okay, so there's a lot going on at the moment. It's like we're in this continuous workshop for quite a few months of breaking through a lot of fear-based programming that's held us in place to claiming sovereignty as a race on Earth for the very first time. Okay, so let's go here. Let's have an experience of this, okay? So what we're going to do now is that we're going to have an experience of divine healing so that you can break through some of the fears and issues of trust and whatever is coming up for you so that you can get to that mission, that gift you're here to deliver, okay? Right, so what we're going to do first is that we're going to allow this interference here. So at the lower octaves of the astral plane, which runs from here to here, the fourth dimension, there's a lot of energetic interference, and it's designed to prevent you from opening to higher consciousness. Okay, that's what this interference does. So we're going to clear a layer of that first, because this energy is actually what's aggravating a lot of your fears and issues that are running, because it's trying to create negative emotional responses in us to feed off it. Okay, so what I want you guys to do is close your eyes and breathe through your mouth. Breathing through the mouth is really important. Okay, and we're going to clear some of those fears, okay? We'll clear some of the interference. I'll do this quietly. And so just be aware of what happens in your body, because some of these energies and beings holding us are going to leave. Okay? So first we're going to release what are called earthbound souls. These are beings, souls who have been in a body but left the body when the body died. And they're connected to you because you have a similar issue. And they're trying to live that issue out vicariously through you. All right, so we're going to clear these now. We'll be doing this quietly. Just be present and breathing through your mouth and feel what happens. Okay. Okay, that's time to leave now, so feel the energetic shift. And we thank the angelics for their help and assistance with us. The next thing we're going to release extraterrestrial presences. Nothing to be worried about here. Most of them are pretty benign. They love observing us because they want to know how our extreme range of emotions on Earth works. But they're very active observing us. By the law of relativity changes the nature of what they're observing, because the observed and the observer are not independent of each other. So I'm going to clear some of these guys out now. Feel the shift with that. And now we're going to release discarnates, entities, and attachments, basically anything else in the lower part of the astral plane that could be affecting you. Feel the energy shift. Okay. So for those of you who are feeling a lot of fear about the situation we're in at the moment, in this Great Awakening, I want you to breathe through your mouth into whatever fear is there. Fear or terror, whatever it is. Just own it, because it's the only way we can clear it. Okay? So when you clear a layer of that, because then we can get on with some of the other work. Okay? And breathe deeply into your body, deep into it. And feel where that fear is in your life, about yourself, about work, your children, family, friends, the world, whatever it is for you that's been bugging you. And just own it all, because bringing consciousness to it is the key to transforming it. See how that fear affects you. See how it limits you, makes you smaller, however it affects you. Feel where it resides in your body. So what we're doing is bringing consciousness to this. Okay. Then allow your higher self to guide you to find out where does it come from. It could come from early childhood, could come from a past life, could come from a future life, could come from other dimensions. Just get a sense of where it comes from. You don't have to be able to name it or know it exactly, but higher self will show you a feeling or a visual or both levels where it comes from. So we're targeting this thing. Okay. Keeping breathing through your mouth. What you're doing is you're expanding that blue spark into the red issue of the fear. Breathe out into that as much as you can. Breathe into areas where you normally wouldn't want to go. It's quite safe here because we're doing this collectively, so it's a stronger energy to hold each of us. Breathe more deeply into your body, because the ego will not want you to breathe. It may try and get you to breathe through your nose or breathe very shallow, at a very shallow level, so you don't feel it, because it's designed to keep you asleep. And when you are ready, I want you to switch on, open your eyes briefly, switch on your microphones, because we're going to say this Divine Healing Command Code together. Okay? When we say it together, it'll be very powerful. Okay? Even those guys who have no video, just switch on your mics if you're able to, because collectively it's very strong. Okay. So I'm going to say this in bite-sized chunks. So when you say this, you've got to mean it, okay? Because it's It's not just words. You're commanding the higher self to change something for you. Remember, you're a spark of the divine. You are the creator. And so we're doing a bit of creating now. You just forgot that's who you were. Just say after me. Higher self.
Higher self.
I welcome the awareness.
I welcome the awareness
Of this fear.
Of this fear.
That has been holding me back.
It's been holding me back.
I lovingly let it go.
And
Lovingly let it go.
And ask that it be cleared.
And ask that it be cleared.
Balanced.
and balanced.
Released. Released.
release
And healed.
And
Healed.
The changes are integrated.
The changes are
integrated
With grace and ease.
with grace and ease
Grace and ease.
Through all levels.
for all
levels,
Dimensions.
all dimensions,
dimensions,
Universes.
universes,
Or time frames.
frames.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, just close your eyes now and breathe into that. And the energy is going to start to dissolve now. Okay. Keep breathing through your mouth. Some of you wanting to see the language. What I'm going to do is I'm going to share the screen and I'll show you the Divine Healing Manual. So keep your eyes closed, those of you who got that there. Okay, I just need to bring this up here. Oops, it's the wrong one. Just trying to find the right manual here. That either. I just have to find the manual again. It's just going to disappear on me somewhere here. I had it up before. Just keep breathing into that. Yeah. Yeah, I found it. I'll just have it on. I'll just find the command code here. Here it is. So I'm just going to bring that up a little bit while you integrate that. Find the share screen. Okay, some of you are asking for this. So this here is the command code in the Divine Healing Level 1 manual we just used. Okay. Right, you can see it there. We'll leave it there so you can look at it later. Okay, so you can open your eyes now. Okay, so what we'll do is have a little bit of feedback just so you can integrate what we just did, and then we're going to keep moving. All right, so who would like to share how that interference clearing and that fear clearing was for you, the shift you've been through? Either Ali?
Yes, it's beautiful. I find every time I do this, it just brings me deeper as well. What consistently happens to me is I feel the energy through an exaggerated yawn. So I just seem to yawn a lot as the energy shifts. So it was a beautiful experience. I definitely felt it. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Somebody's having trouble hearing me, so I'm going to change microphones. Hang on. Sorry about that. All right. Okay. So how's that in terms of sound? Is that better?
It's good.
Yeah. Sorry about that. Okay. Anyone else want to give some feedback on that? How that was? Indri. Is it Indri?
Yeah.
How was that? Yeah. How was that for you?
It was very nice. A very nice feeling inside, but I just went through the process very recently when I think you were sharing this video about Q something, and like I don't know, and I watched it and I was in a big fear. I felt like my body was shaking. I was sitting in a balcony for hours, and then I woke up in the morning, like it was nothing inside of me. I was so happy, and it's been a few days now. I feel like I'm a new person. I'm afraid of nothing. So
Oh, good, you cleared it. So.
Yeah, it was very strange, but even now I feel like I know what I'm afraid of, but I'm not afraid anymore.
Yeah, very good. Fear is only in the ego anyway, you see.
Maybe.
Yeah, because we actually create every moment of our reality, including what's going on now. So if you can create your reality, there's actually nothing to be scared of. But if you actually focus on something you're scared of, then you will manifest it, probably, if you do it long enough, okay?
Yeah.
Anyone else want to share how that was? Thank you, Indri.
This is Rosario. Yeah. I just wanted to more of a question for you. I noticed I could feel how I was holding my breath at some point. I could feel the resistance.
Yep.
Which is interesting because I really want to let go. I want to just, breathe. But it's funny how as soon as the moment that I'm trying to pay attention and let go, this part of me just grasps there, like holds it in. Any good techniques to let go of that air I need to get out?
Yeah, that's the ego trying to stop you from feeling, okay? So there'd be some beliefs around that or fear of feeling around that. And in Divine Healing, we'd actually go and work on that program. There's probably what we call a hidden agenda to not feel. Most of us have that because if we could feel everything immediately, we'd clear our stuff a lot quicker. Okay, that's probably what that is. So I used to hold my breath a lot. I used to not be able to breathe properly at all because my ego was holding on to a lot of programs and didn't want me to get anywhere near them. It took me ages to clear it, but it's a lot easier nowadays. So you could watch this video again later and focus on the fear of not wanting to feel, because it'll contain the transmission exactly as it is now, okay? And then see how you feel afterwards. So you can repeatedly use this, which is what I discover people do to clear a lot of issues.
Makes sense. You just mentioned something that reminded me, of course, one of the major reasons why I'm holding on is not trying to feel, because in my protecting myself, for, of many of the circumstances around my life, I guess that's exactly what I'm doing, trying not to feel.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what it is.
Yeah. Because the first thing is to be able to feel. When you can feel, then you have a very powerful tool to actually break through a lot of other programs. Yeah. And it's okay not to feel initially, because remember, we're designed to stay stuck, stay separate as possible from Mother, Father, God. It's normal. Because if we judge or the ego judges itself for having these programs, it just makes the program stronger. So it's all about just accepting the program. This is just what is. And becoming aware of any feeling of being bad about having that program and not being as spiritually advanced as we'd all like, okay? Ego always wants to be better than everyone else, but usually we're usually a lot less conscious than our ego thinks we are. It's normal, okay? And being okay with exactly where you are. And that then allows the very program the ego is protecting to be loosened up, okay? So it's very tricky, the ego, but this is actually how you dismantle it with love and grace and ease. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Anyone else want? Janine.
What I thought was interesting is when we did the first part of it.
Interference.
Yeah. So a lot of sadness came up, a lot of deep, deep, deep sadness to the, I have no idea, but almost like I didn't want to relinquish it. Like I held it as a badge of courage maybe, or a badge of honor, or I have no idea what it meant to me, but it was very strong. And when you went into the astral, it lessened. And then when we got to the final part, it was like, I almost felt lightheaded from all the room I had now from not holding on to all this stuff. That was just my experience. It just felt very expansive and almost like I didn't even really know, like, is this really me? Is this all my space that I have? Because I must occupy a very tight space.
Well, you've freed up a lot of life force, Janine, which have been holding all those programs in place. That's why you felt expanded. And it's probably been there before you can even remember. Okay, a lot of the stuff gets laid in at a pre-verbal time when we're small children or even in the womb, depending on the experience we want to have. Very good. Anyone else want to share how that was? Okay, Diane?
It was an interesting experience because I hadn't been feeling well over the last couple of weeks, and I was like in space, floating around, like nothing's real. And the way it manifested last night as far as fear, I was in my Kindle and I'm like, this isn't real. It's not like a real book. Why do I buy these Kindles? Because I don't know where I am in the book. You know, that's how it translated. And I've not been able to breathe over these last few weeks. So obviously there's some change, but it just seemed to open up. And in the meditation, or I went back to a time when I first connected with, it was nighttime and everyone went out to look at this owl. And it was my first consciousness of being out and realizing it was like an awakening moment. And it just took me back to that moment in time, way back. I was about 5. So this is, I feel like I can start to breathe again. I really have been struggling over the last couple of weeks, so it's really been helpful.
Very
Yeah.
good. Yeah, we often freeze up if we're carrying a lot of fear in our body. It's normal. Very good. All right. Let's have a look here. Tatiana says she's much better. Sharifa said, I had a little headache after doing it. Headaches are normal because it's usually toxic release in the head and stress leaving. Or if it's a really strong headache, it's trauma leaving the brainstem. Lorraine said she felt a lot of energy in her head and yawned a lot. Yawning is good. That's releasing negative energy. I think Julie, or is it just Julie, I think it is. It's not fully shown here. For a few days, I felt my body vibrating quite intensely at times. This has just stopped. My whole head feels clear and open. My breath was very strange and was yawning a lot. There's definitely been a big shift of energy. Thank you. Yeah, the vibrating is usually something trying to come out of your body. That's usually shock or trauma trying to come out. If you get vibrating in the body. That'll be stored. Most of our trauma is stored in our brainstem, but you can also store trauma in the sacral area as well. A lot of that, depending on what's happened to you. Okay, anyone else want to share before we do the next bit? Okay, Elle, nice to see you. Have to unmute. Yep.
Yes. Hi, Nicolas. Thank you for doing this. I had a pain in my left temple, like a sort of pressure kind of pain on the left-hand side.
Yep.
And I was yawning a lot as well. And then afterwards I felt sort of quite tired, like that sort of jet lag feeling.
Yeah.
And that's sort of diminishing a little bit now. And that's physically kind of how I felt.
Okay, more release is happening. Good.
Good, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Anyone else before we move to the next bit? Okay, Tatiana.
Hello, everybody. And Nicolas, thank you so much for this webinar. It confirms what I've been going through for the past couple of years, as well as helps me to evaluate where I am on this process. And during this process that we just went through a couple of minutes ago, I felt a lot of tingling and very light pressure in this area, in the chest area and throat, and mainly here,
Yeah.
but also other parts of the body as well. And it's the tingling and those sensations increased when you mentioned the angelic also working with us and watching us, and after we finish this process, I just feel much lighter. The whole body feels much lighter. The whole vibration of the body just like quiet down, if I might describe it this way.
Very good.
That was an interesting experience. And if I may ask you to repost the link with the video. Looks like I missed that video that you guys are referring to. Would be interesting to experience the healing through the video that you're referring to as well.
No, I was talking about this video when I email this to you later.
Oh, I see.
Next few days, then it retains the entire transmission of what we've done, so you can use this for your own healing process. That's what I was talking about. Yeah. Okay, because only about 20% of the people who come can actually come at the time because it's global. So, yeah. Oh, there you are, Jules. Okay, you were actually the one writing to me before. Okay. I just want to answer a couple of questions here. So, Diane, you said, can you explain claiming sovereignty as a race for the very first time? Okay, in summary, basically we were created as a slave race by the race of beings who currently control us in the shadows. And this is about us claiming our sovereignty. It happened about 150,000 years ago. And you can check this out for yourself. So basically, this is us, in the Bible. I'm not a Christian or anything, but in the Bible, Christ says, the meek shall inherit the earth. That's what's going on right now as the truth comes out. And we are taking back control of our planet for the very first time. That's what claiming sovereignty means, where we take charge of how we create the reality, where we're not programmed by the powers that be, the dark forces, to go in their fear-based reality, which they're trying very hard to do at the moment, but it's not working quite so well. Okay, so more and more truth comes out, which is at a much higher level of consciousness and fear. When WikiLeaks is just like a nuclear weapon's gone off in terms of information release. It's going to be really interesting to see what happens. Okay, as the truth really comes out and people wake up. All right, let's see what else we got. There's another question here. Ali, you've asked, why is it important to breathe in and out through the mouth? That keeps us in the body. The ego will naturally want to breathe through the nose, which keeps you in your head, which is no good for this work because we want to feel our way through to higher consciousness. You cannot think your way back to God. That's just the mind messing around with itself. That's why we always must breathe, and the ego will try and go back to breathing through the nose at any cost because it does not want you to feel its programs. It's designed to defend itself at all costs. But we've developed techniques like this to work out how to get around it. All right.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Nicolas.
So Marina has asked me, what is it if someone feels on the left side of the head temple something that is not a pain but something, a pressure? It would depend on what program is in there, Mariola. It's quite complex. Depends what you've got on board. Can't say exactly what that would be. What could be some sort of interference, some entity, someone hanging out who's pressing on you. Okay. Any other comments or questions before we move on? We do this just to help you integrate the last treatments because we're going to do a few more now. No? Okay, let's move on. So what I want you guys to do now is I want you to focus on your mission, your gift of service. And don't think about the practicalities of getting there. Even if it's just a vision you've had, don't think about how to get from here to there. Just focus on what really makes your heart sing. What makes my heart sing is to teach and to share knowledge, just like I'm doing now. That's why I get out of bed in the morning. Okay. I want you to focus on that and feel it in your heart and visualize it, taste it as if it's already done. This is how we create things. The mind might go a little nuts sometimes, thinking, oh, I'm never going to get there. And it's going to go blah-de-blah-de-blah, and make all this noise, but ignore all that. Because what we're going to do here is that we're going to trigger the hidden ego programming. It's important to keep your eyes closed here because otherwise the mind will go active and try and figure it out. Okay, 80% of your mental energy comes out your eyes. And breathe into that reality as if it's already done. You could be teaching people or running a healing practice or whatever service it is that makes your heart sing. So what we're going to do is we're going to ambush the ego programs. We're going to trigger them because when you decide to go for what you really desire in the heart, coming from the soul, the ego will try and stop you. So it's going to have to show itself. So what we're going to do is trigger it to bring up some whatever programming is designed to stop you. And then we're going to clear that programming. So we're going to clear a lot of what we call low frequency programs now. So just do that for a few minutes. And breathe in to this new reality. Allow it to open your heart. It's already done. Remember, you are a spark of the Creator. So you can create whatever you like. The only limitation is what's in the ego. So we're just going to make it a little easier by clearing a layer of it. And be aware of whatever feelings come up. Allow whatever wants to come up to come up. The ego may be yapping in your head and maybe saying all sorts of strange things. Like you can never do that, or that's impossible, you're not worthy. All sorts of stuff will trigger. And this is what we want to work with. So become aware of the programming coming up, how it operates in your life. Just feel it. And get a sense where it comes from. What is its origin? You may not be able to name it, but it could be a past life, could be a future life, could be earlier in this life, could be from another dimension. Just get a sense with your intention of connecting to wherever it comes from. Don't go and look for it, just allow the higher self to show you if it needs to. Just the intention is enough to target this thing. And open up to all aspects of whatever programming is coming up, whatever low frequency program is coming up to try and stop you. You might be feeling unworthy, you might be feeling lack of trust, you might be feeling, oh, it's dangerous to show myself. Okay. I might get burnt at the stake again, as has happened before. Okay. You might be feeling, who am I to do this? Open to all aspects of whatever feeling comes up. Breathing through the mouth. Become aware of any attachment the ego has to holding on to this program trying to stop you. Any feelings of being bad for having that program. Or judgment around the program. And the more you can open to this program, just breathing into it, expand into it, the more it can integrate and heal. So we're maximizing consciousness around this program. Okay, I want you to all open your eyes now. Share the screen and we're going to do this command code together to clear that program. Stay breathing into it. Stay with the feeling you've connected to. And everyone switch on your mics who wants to do that, because we're going to collectively do this together. It's more powerful when we can all hear each other. This is the main level frequency program command code. We do command codes in divine healing because we're commanding the universe. So repeat after me. We are Saint Germain.
We are Saint Germain.
Pour the purple flame.
Pour the purple flame.
Through the aura.
Through the aura.
And subtle bodies.
And subtle bodies.
To burn away all low frequency energies.
To burn away all low frequency energies
that we have discovered. So that new higher level vibrations.
So that new higher level vibrations
can be accessed. Setting the scene, so just a little pause there to allow the higher self to carry this out. And Saint Germain to carry it out. And we're going to do this next set of command codes. We're going to do them a little pause after each one here. Repeat after me. Saint Germain and higher self.
Saint Germain and higher self.
Please burn out in one go.
Please burn out in one go.
100%.
100%.
The core issue.
The core issue.
Through all levels and dimensions.
Through all levels and dimensions.
Pause there, let that happen. Be conscious of the words you're saying. They're not just words, you're commanding the universe. The more conscious you are, the deeper the clearing. 100% the original cause.
100% the original cause.
Through all levels and dimensions.
Through all levels and dimensions.
Little pause. 100% the source of its power.
100% the source of its power.
Through all levels and dimensions.
Through all levels and dimensions.
Little pause there. 100% all energy attached.
100% all energy attached.
Through all levels and dimensions.
Through all levels and dimensions.
Little pause there. Body may move, you may want to yawn, it's fine. Energy releasing. 100% all of its effects.
100% all of its effects.
Through all levels and dimensions.
Through all levels and dimensions.
Little pause there. And then we say thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so gratitude is very powerful. And feel the gratitude in your heart for that. because it opens up a pathway and bypasses the ego and opens up a pathway to source. So the more gratitude you express, the more you open to source. The more you open to source, the more flow, abundance comes to you. But you got to really mean it, though.
Yeah.
Okay? You got to really mean it. Okay, so now what we're going to do, keeping your eyes closed, we're going to move on to clear past life issues here, which have also created these blockages. Okay. All right. So I want you to repeat after me. First, I want you just to breathe in and just become conscious with your intention. Divine healing is all about intention. Any past life issue, all right, which is blocking you, manifesting that mission, that desire. Just become aware of that. And be aware of how many lifetimes are involved. A number will just come into your head. Your higher self will tell you. You don't even have to remember it. Just becoming conscious of it, then it puts all this information into what we call the divine healing stack. It's the energy construct, energy matrix, which the higher self uses to transform whatever you want, because you're in charge, remember. So you are doing this. It's not being done to you, you're commanding this. A lot of what we process comes from past lives. Okay, everyone open your eyes and switch on your microphones, because we're going to do this past life clearing command code now. Yeah. So I'm going to change this slightly in this bit here. It's not going to be traumatic deaths, it's just going to be traumatic lifetimes. So stay connected with those past lives you accessed and repeat after me. We'll do it in bite-sized chunks. Higher self.
Higher self.
Please clear, heal, and integrate.
Heal
and integrate
all these files and memories.
All these files and memories.
Including all cellular memories.
Including all cellular memories.
The DNA.
The DNA.
And the subatomic levels.
And the subatomic levels.
A little pause there. I am now ready to heal.
Now ready to heal
all traumatic lifetimes.
All traumatic lifetimes.
Blocking the manifestation.
Blocking the manifestation
of the flow of my abundance.
Of my abundance.
And of my gift of service.
Of my gift of service.
At all levels and dimensions.
At all levels and dimensions.
All time frames.
At all time frames.
Realities. And universes.
Universes.
Pause there. Let that shift. Very important in divine healing to allow things to shift one layer at a time. I command. That any soul fragments. Held with these memories. Are now returned to me.
Now return to me.
Fully whole and intact.
Fully whole and intact.
As appropriate.
I
welcome these soul fragments back.
These soul fragments back.
Little pause there. I command that the whole holographic matrix.
I command that the whole holographic matrix
be repaired. Through all layers and levels. Then brought into full alignment.
And then
integration.
Integration and
balance. To allow for wholeness to emerge.
to
allow
for
for the
wholeness to emerge.
Thank you.
Thank you. Just embrace the shift.
Thank
there.
you. Thank you. Embrace the shift.
And now what we're going to do is that we're going to integrate this. So in divine healing, we use frequencies to integrate this. We're going to use energetic nutrition. So we have four different types of nutrition. We have amino acids, essential fatty acids, minerals, and vitamins. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll through these a few times up and down, and one of them will jump out at you off the page. Okay, and that's the one for you. Your higher self will show you, and then just note what that is. You might want to write it down, or just if you, as long as your consciousness is on it, you'll be fine. So let me just go down this flow here. So if you guys could switch off your microphones now, because we're getting a bit of feedback. Thanks. You don't have to know what it means, okay? Just allow the higher consciousness, higher self to guide you. Okay. Whoops. I'll go back up to this other one. So you can see that again. Those guys. You don't even have to be able to pronounce it. It'll still work. Okay. All right. I think it's plenty. Okay, so switch your microphones on now. We're going to do this command code together to finish off for today. All right. Repeat after me. Higher self.
Higher self.
Please encode this nutrient.
Please encode
This nutrient.
In the perfect balance.
Perfect balance.
That is required.
Is required.
And clear and align.
And clear and align.
All pathways.
All pathways.
For maximum assimilation.
Maximum assimilation.
Absorption.
Absorption.
And utilization.
And utilization.
Done. Thank you.
Feel the shift?
Thank you.
Thank you. Right. So how do people feel from that? Anyone want to share how that is?
Very lighthearted. I feel lighter for some reason. Like I started to feel the flow of air in my body. It's like little blockages I started to feel at the beginning where I was holding on to my breath. All of a sudden there's like a new pathway, like I'm opening up. I just feel lighter. It's like, it's amazing.
Yeah. So
I feel like I lost a couple pounds, which is great.
You did energetically, yeah. So this is ask and you shall receive, Rosaria.
Yes.
Okay, if you know how to ask in the right way. So, sure. All right. Anyone else want to share how that was? Janine? Yeah.
I feel very euphoric, almost giddy. That was amazing on so many levels. But the last thing we did with the vitamins and I felt that in my body. I have no idea what it did, but it did something, and it just totally opened up everything. It was incredible. Thank you for guiding it. Thank you.
Okay. Who else wants to share how that was? Are you all stunned, speechless or something? Or... Pam, how was that?
I just felt a complete feeling of calm come over me. I experienced specific past lives which I have worked on, so I kind of knew what was going to come up. They were pretty traumatic, and a lot of it involves the throat area. So I did feel a sort of expansion around the throat area. Yeah, just feeling really quite calm and expansive at the moment.
Okay, thanks for sharing. Anyone else want to share? Ellen?
Yeah, well, that was like, and especially with the last bit that we spoke, was like an internal shower of kind of sparks. And this kind of effervescence that came with that I feel like the back of my eyes feels more open, like this, like rooted in more, like yeah, just the velocity kind of cranked a little bit. So fascinating. Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, divine healing is like emotional laser surgery. If you bring maximum consciousness to a program and you targeted it properly, it will just be excised, and you may not even be able to remember what you just cleared because it takes it out really cleanly. Okay, so you don't have to even remember the pain; it's just gone. And then when that happens, you know you've done a good job on yourself. You can't even remember what it was. Okay. Anyone else want to share how that was? Okay, Ali.
I feel renewed. Is the word that comes to me. Just feel energized, in fact, as well. So a beautiful healing, so many levels, and I also feel lighter and just like just re-energized, recharged. It feels great. And I just feel like I can breathe.
Yeah.
Better as well. So thank you.
Okay.
So.
All right. Got a question here. Sharifa said, are we supposed to do this again? Yes, you can watch the video again and do this again, but it'll take a deeper layer out of whatever you need to work on. And Lindsay said, beautiful Nicolas, feels so great. How do we get hold of the Divine Healing Manual you appear to be using for this glorious webinar? Well, the manual is what we use in the Divine Healing training, because you need to be trained how to use it, because it's a transmission of how it works. Lindsay, so here's how that works. I'll show you. Okay. In Divine Healing, we have we run a 4-day training. It's about empowering yourself, so you can actually work on yourself. So you don't have to clear 80% of your issues yourself. And this is what you learn. You learn over 4 days on Zoom, 12:30 to 8:30 UK time in the afternoon, which is 7:30 to 3:30 Eastern time. Okay, you did 26 charts. We did some of them. We did fears and phobias, interferences, main low frequency programs, past life deaths. We adjusted that, and we did nutrition. So you learn to do all these charts here, and the way it's taught is it's experiential learning, where I demonstrate the chart, and if it's a simple chart like the essences, we do it on the whole class. If it's a more complex chart, I demonstrate it on someone in the class. Then you go off into breakout rooms on Zoom. So it's private virtual spaces where you practice on each other, giving and receiving. So you get full immersion in over 4 days. And basically you basically have a 4-day healing intensive. And in every chart that's done by everyone else, everyone receives. So it's a massively powerful healing intensive. Plus you learn how to do it. So afterwards you can work on yourself, work on others if you're a practitioner, and everyone initially practices on themselves. A lot of people use this in their healing practices or start a healing practice if they don't have an existing one. So we cover a lot of things, and it basically is being channeled through from source to our mirror, and the other two our friends of ours who developed this in 2006 to take us back to source and consciousness, the very thing we've been talking about today, to actually get home. Okay, that's how you get the manual. And training, there's information down here. If you're interested in the training, all right, to clear your own issues, because this is one of the fastest way to get home. We run one on Zoom 25th to 28th of June. These are the times here. So it's 4:30 in Pacific, but it's better than flying to England, which is what people used to do, or 1:30 in Europe. The deposit's £166, or about $200 US. Total fees about $490. £490, or about probably 600 US. But it's equivalent to doing about 5-6 hours of one-to-one time with me, but then you get something which will last forever, basically. So there's still slots available if you're interested. To just go to the divinehealingtraining.com and you can read more about the training itself. So, and empower yourself and transform your life permanently if you use it. Okay. So any final questions on that before we go? Anyone? So you've got me here. No questions? Okay. So Lindsay says she's interested. So if you just sign up with a deposit, because people are signing up already, then that secures your place. Okay, it's your it's thedivinehealingtraining.com. Sharifa, let me just make sure that it's thedivinehealingtraining.com will get you to the right page. Okay. Yeah. All right. So thanks, guys, for total engagement. That was fun. And drink lots of water after this. And if you watch this again, just be aware it'll be just as strong as you've had now. So don't do it in the car or anything like that. You need to be in a sacred space just to receive this. Okay? All right. Thank you, everybody. Take care. Stay safe. And if you have more fear coming up around this whole thing we're going through, just do the webinar again. Just move to the fear chart, and that'll clear the layer and you'll be fine. Okay?
Thank you so much, Nicolas.
All right. Bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.